Welcome, folks. Here we are in Game 9 of our Thurman Munson 1979 Rest in Peace replay. We're replaying the last 10 games of Thurman Munson's career as a Yankee. Thurman Munson played 11 games, 11 seasons as a Yankee. He was Rookie of the Year in 1970 and AL MVP in 1976 with a 302 batting average, 105 RBIs. He played in 3 World Series from 76 to 78. He wore number 15 with the Yankees, and he was the first Yankee captain since Lou Gehrig. And we're going to get started right away, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Payoff Pitcher. I might do it as I play. I have a request to discuss some of the games and the upsides and maybe the downsides of some of those games. So I'm going to get started. It's going to be Randy Scarberry on the mound for the Chicago White Sox. He's a 27-year-old right-hander who was 2-8 with a 4.62 ERA. And the Yanks are going to have Willie Randolph at second base, batting first. Batting second is going to be Thurman Munson. The DH today. So he's been playing first base and DHing here in this last week. So he has probably some nagging injury. It's Reggie Jackson batting third right field, Lou Piniella fourth left field, Craig Nettles third baseman batting fifth, batting sixth is Jim Spencer the first baseman, Bobby Mercer batting seventh center field, Jerry Narron the catcher, and he is a 2-arm, which is pretty good. Lower, I think, the better when it comes to catching. And Fred Stanley, the shortstop. So we're going to get started right away, and it's Randy Scarberry. And that's a wheelhouse for, against a righty, it's 1-5. And it's a 17, wheelhouse 17. That's a line drive base hit for Willie Randolph. So Willie Randolph starts off the game with a single to center field. And now we're going to see if Willie steals. He is a 5, so we're going to roll 2 dice. And if it's 5 or less, he does it, so he goes. And we're going to look at the catcher, Bill Naharodny. Naharodny, I believe, from my memory, is a 4. A 4 throwing arm. Let's double check that. He is a 4 throwing arm. And Willie Randolph is a C base stealer. See that there? I'm going to leave that up there. And so we're going to look at a 4C. A 4C is going to be very good. And we're going to pull a fast action card for the stolen base. And very good is safe. So Willie Randolph steals second base. Gets in under the tag. And with Willie at second, it's Thurman Munson, the captain, number 15, also nicknamed the Walrus. So here's the pitch from Randy Scarberry. And that's a 6, and that's going to be in play. And that's a 0-2 in play. And that's going to be, let's take a look here. It's going to be a deep drive to center field. One hops the wall, and hustling after it is Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon throws it in quickly. But Munson is in with a stand-up double, a stand-up RBI double. Yankees are up 1-0 here in the top of the first. And it's Reggie Jackson. That's going to be a 10, which is tough. A tough 63. Tough 63 versus a right-hander is going to be, just outside the base hit range. Look at that. 62 would have been a base hit. So a 63 is going to be an out, and that's flied out to left field. Reggie takes it the other way, and that's one away. Munson back to second. Lou Piniella now. And that's a 6. That's in play. Lou Piniella 30. And a 30 on the 6, in play 30, and that may be, we're going to double check and see if that's that's a wild pitch. Look at that. Wild pitch. I looked here just in the nick of time because I usually miss that. And Thurman Munson's going to hustle over to third base. Wild pitch by Randy Scarberry. And Lupinella's still at bat. He's going to get another opportunity here. So Randy sets and deals. And it's a 9. That's going to be patient. A 28. A patient 28 is going to be a single, a line drive into left. And runner on second. There's a runner on third, so he's going to score. RBI single for Lou Piniella after the wild pitch. And Munson trots on home. It's 2-0 Yanks lead it. And it's Greg Nettles, left-hand hitting third baseman for the Yankees, and that's an 8. An 8 is a in play 55. In play 55. It's going to be a fly ball left field. And Pinella's going to hold up at first. Now, Piniella, I don't think I didn't even roll for him to base steal because he's not a base stealer. He had 3 stolen bases. I mean, I could roll. There you go. 5. No, doesn't do it. Okay, so it's Jim Spencer with Piniella on at first and 2 outs. That's a 7. That's going to be a tough. And a tough 19 against a righty is going to be a strikeout. So Spencer down on strikes. Got him with a curveball. It's going to be Ron Guidry, the lefty, 29 years old. Louisiana Lightning, as he is known. And he had 30 starts and was 18-8 with a 2.78 ERA. I believe, check me, double check, but I believe he led the league in ERA that year. 1979, Ron Guidry in the American League. So he was a premier starter in his day, in his time. All right, so here's the pitch from the lefty, Ron Guidry, and that's going to be a 9. That's patient. And that's going to be a 39, a patient 39. And that's going to be a line drive base hit for Alan Bannister. So Bannister starts us off with a bang. Bannister on at first, and Bannister's a good base stealer. Let's play the game a little bit with him. He had 22 stolen bases and only caught 6 times. He's a 4, and that's not going to do it. And that's an 8. That's going to be tough to Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon batting second. Oh, no, it's, you know what? I made a mistake. It is not Chet Lemon batting second. Chet Lemon's batting third. Moore. There it is. Okay, Moore is batting second. So it's a Junior Moore. It's a right-handed batter. So that's an 8. We said it was a tough 43. Tough 43 against a lefty. Oh, and that's going to be swung on and lined into the gap to center field, and that's going to get cut off by Bobby Mercer. Bobby Mercer hustles to get it in, and stopping at second, Alan Bannister had to hold up to. It was hit so hard that he thought Bobby Mercer was going to catch that, and he stops at second base. So runners on first and second, nobody out, and it's going to be Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon batted .327 versus lefties. So he's dangerous. And there's the Yankees are up 2-0. We're in the bottom of the first, no outs, and Junior Moore is at first. Alan Bannister at second, and it's Chet Lemon, right-hand hitting center fielder for the White Sox, and that's an 8, which is tough. So we're going to look at the left 57. 57 is going to take us into the out range, and that's going to be a fly ball 9. And that's going to be a high fly ball pop up to Reggie Jackson in right, and he's got a good arm. So they're going to respect his arm. And Alan Bannister goes back to second base, so there's 1 out now. And it's Wayne Nordhagen. Nordhagen batted .306 versus lefties. And 196 versus righties, so it's clear why he's in there. Now this is going to be a ballpark. A ballpark. If we get a wheelhouse, righty on wheelhouse is 1-40, and Wayne Nordhagen is in the wheelhouse, or the pitch is in Nordhagen's wheelhouse, and against a lefty, it's a 1-40 home run, and the game is actually the White Sox go up 3-2. So 1-40 is a home run for Wayne Nordhagen, and that's an 83. That's way out of the range. So Guidry lucks out. It's not only that, it's a ground ball to the shortstop. And it's a 9 DP and it's a 10 DP. And that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. And the Yanks get out of the inning. Wow, what a turn of events there. We expected that to be a ball that was out of here. Had a good opportunity, had 40% chance. But it doesn't turn out that way. And he hits into a double play. Wayne Nordhagen. So it's going to be the top of the second. The Yanks are bringing up Bobby Mercer, Jerry Narron, and Fred Stanley now. Mercer started out with the Yanks. Then he moved to the Cubs for a bunch of years, and then he came back to the Yanks in the late 70s and played with them 4 or 5 more years. Here's Randy Scarberry. And that's a 9. That's going to be patient. A patient 0-0. That's going to be an unusual play with nobody on base. Now, we use an alternative modified chart. And I'm going to get a couple of dice here. I don't have my APA colored dice, which I love. Oh, yeah, here they are. All right. There you go. Homage to APA. A 14 if a non-dome game is halted immediately because of rain. Option, play game until winner decided, then call game. Well, we're not doing none of that. So you know what? Let's skip that and let's re-roll for another more convenient result. 61. A 61 on our APA dice. And a 61 is going to go here, and that's going to be on an infield hit. Shortstop first. On an infield hit to shortstop, first baseman collides with batter at first base and comes up limping. Batter out. Put out 6-3. Check first base for injury. Okay, so it's a 6-3. 6-3 put out now.
What's up?
6-3 put out, and we're going to check the first baseman for injury. Let's see who that is. It's Lamar Johnson, and he is normal injury. And the injury table, just so you can see it, let's look at the injury table here. Now, not much. I usually don't check injuries, but you know what? I'm going to check it. Why not? Just to have some fun here and to do something out of the ordinary. Here it is. Injury chart. I guess we roll normal. We roll 2 dice. 2d10. And that's a 55. So a 55 under normal is going to be a injured remaining +1 game. So Chet Lemon is out of the ball game. I usually don't do this because I play actual lineups, but I'm just kind of shaking it up a little bit here. And this game did have a bunch of substitutes. So I'm going to bring in Mike Squires, who's going to replace Lamar Johnson. I don't know if I said Chet Lemon, but it's going to be Mike Squires, a lefty. There he goes. Mike Squires is in the game now. Lamar Johnson is out. And it's Jerry Narron. Jerry Narron. Here's a pitch from Randy Scarberry, the lefty hitting Jerry Narron. A 4, and that's a ballpark. That's a 90. That's going to be in play. And a 71. That's going to take us into the out range. And that's going to be a fly ball lifted center field. Chet Lemon runs it down. 2 away. Fred Stanley. Shortstop, 10, replacing Bucky Dent, who I believe is injured. I haven't seen him for a few games. That's a 10, tough, a 62, a tough 62 takes us to a ground ball to second base. Jim Morrison playing there. And Morrison flips to Squires, 4-3. All right, it's going to be Mike Squires leading it off for the White Sox against Ron Guidry, lefty versus lefty. Mike Squires replaced the injured Lamar Johnson. And that's an 8, tough, and a tough 50. A tough 50 versus a lefty is going to be a fly ball pop-up. And that pop-up is going to be Greg Nettles calling for it. Lou Pinella's coming in, but no, Greg Nettles makes the catch. Pop 5. Now that's a modifier you can get on Sideline Strategies. You go to Sideline Strategies Delphi, and you can find modifiers for this game. Very, very cool stuff. And it's Bill Naharodny, the catcher. And that's a 7. That's tough. A 20, tough 20 versus a lefty. It's a strikeout. Naharodny. Curveball gets him. And Greg Pryor now shortstop. That's a 5. That's patient. A patient 31. It's going to be a ball that's driven deep off the left field wall. And Greg Pryor, the throw from Piniella, and Pryor right under the tag. And it's a 2-out double for Pryor. Here's Jim Morrison with 2 outs, and Pryor takes his lead off second base. And that's going to be a 3 defense, a defense 47. We're going to see what that is using the fast action. It's going to be error 6, so a 47 it could be. Let's see what Fred Stanley is out there. Stanley is a F range, but we're looking at the error 4, and that's a little bit below, so it's going to be out of error range. So it's going to be a grounded to short, and Fred Stanley handles this one, throws out Jim Morrison from the Doors. Riders in the Storm. All right, he's buried in Paris, France, I believe. All right, it's going to be Randy Scarberry pitching to Willie Randolph. I have Ron Guidry. I got to go to the starting lineup now. Over to my right, I'm using iScore, and I think Ron Guidry is batting because I didn't uncheck that. So now it's Willie Randolph now batting. He's 1 for 1. Here's the pitch from Scarberry. It's a 7. That's tough. A tough 77 is going to be in the out range. That's going to be a ground ball hit hard, but right at Greg Pryor. Pryor guns it to first and gets Willie by half a step. Here he is, the captain, number 15, also known as the Walrus. Rookie of the Year in 1970 and AL MVP in 1976. Played in 3 World Series with the Yanks. We are replaying this series, this project in his memory. And that's going to be a 9. That's going to be patient, so that's good for Thurman. An 89 is not going to work. 89 is going to be in the out range, and that's going to be a ground ball to short, and Pryor to his left. Picks it up, throws out Munson, 2 away. And it's Reggie Jackson now. Reggie Jackson, a 9. That's a patient. We're looking in Reggie's yellow versus a righty, 25, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Reggie walks. Now Reggie had 9 stolen bases, 8 caught stealing, so we're going to roll to see. It's a 4. If we roll at 4 or less, he steals or attempts it, and it's not. It's a 5. All right, so Lou Piniella's up now with 2 outs against Randy Scarberry. Piniella batted 288 versus righties. That's a 6. That's in play. And in play 24, maybe trouble, and it is. It's going to be a line drive single into the gap in center field, cut off quickly by Chet Lemon. And hustling over to third is going to be Reggie Jackson. So Lou Piniella singles Jackson to third here with 2 out in the top of the 3rd. Next is going to be Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles flied out in his first at bat. He's 0 for 1. Greg Nettles batted 253 versus righties and 253 versus lefties. And that's going to be a 6, so that's in play. So you're looking at Nettles here, 1 to 22 for a hit, 0-3, and that's going to do it. And that's going to be a double. It's a liner into left center, cut off by the left fielder, and Nettles is going to hustle into second base, and scoring easily is Jackson. Around third is Piniella, and they're going to cut it off, and there's no throw home. Quick throw to second, but now Nettles gets back in time. So a 2-run, 2-out double by Greg Nettles, who plays the hot corner for the Yanks. And comes up big here, and the Yanks now lead at 4-0. Randy Scarborough Scarberry from Scarberry Road, and he actually gets fatigued in the 5th. So once it gets to the 5th inning, We're going to have to consider changing him. Otherwise, we're going to have to use a fatigue pitcher card, which we may. I don't know. It depends how he's doing. Okay, so it's Jim Spencer. Spencer's 0 for 1. He's struck out swinging, and that's a 12. That's a wheelhouse. Now, against a righty, Spencer has big numbers against a lefty, 1-74, which is a 75% home run chance, and a 60% home run chance against righties. So we're looking on the right side right here. Let's see what happens. And that's a deep drive, deep to right field. Back goes Nordhagen to the track, to the wall. He looks up. It's out of here. Jim Spencer connects. And Randy Scarberry looks disgruntled, and he wishes he had that pitch back. 2-run home run for Jim Spencer, filling in for Chris Chambliss, who's the everyday first baseman for the Yanks, and the Yanks now lead it by a score of 6-0 in the next to last game of Thurman Munson's Yankee career. He played 11 seasons with the Yankees. And we're playing July 31st, 1979 in Chicago. Bob Lemon took over for Billy Martin June 18th. So he's sitting in the dugout right now. Who's that? Bob. How you doing, Bob? I've been on your chair. Well, wait, what's going on? You got to stop that, man. Make it happen, brother. All right. Good to have you back, brother. Just doing what's fun to do, man. I love to do. I get home from work and I come right to the table and play a game for you guys and for myself and enjoy it. All right, so it's Bobby Mercer. Now, Randy Scarberry is still in there. There's 2 outs, and I know I don't know who the Chicago manager is at this point, but he's hoping that Randy Scarberry from Scarberry Road can get out of this inning, so we don't have to bring in another pitcher right now. All right, it's a 6, and that's in play. Let's see what happens here. This may be the last batter, and I think it's going to be the last batter. 0-8. A 6 we said was in play. I hear you, man. Yes, work. I know. I hear you. I went away in last summer for about a month, so that threw me off, and I started just playing off camera a lot. I started playing Status Pro, and I started the '85 Yankee season. So a 0-8 here in play versus the righty is going to be a 0-8, and that's going to be a line drive base hit. Line drive base hit for Bobby Mercer, and that's going to be it for Scarberry. Single. And we're going to pull Scarberry now for, got to get his name right. I wrote it in iScore, I wrote it with 2 R's. It's 1 R. And we're going to bring in a guy, not bringing him in. Who's up next? Let's see who's up next. Jerry Narron, a lefty. You know what? 30 innings pitched in 24 games. Fred Howard. Yeah, Fred Howard. We're going to bring in Fred Howard. Fred Howard is going to come in. Scarberry is going to head out to Scarberry Road. And it's going to be Jerry Narron. So it's Fred Howard. It's going to be in there now. He's a right-hander. He's facing the lefty, Jerry Narron, who's 0 for 1 today. It's the top of the 3rd. The Yankees have scored 4 runs, and they lead it 6-0. Let's see, 10. That's ballpark. Ballpark for Narron against a right-hander is 1-28. Well, if we land in the wheelhouse. We need a lefty is 1-53 to be in the ballpark, and that's a 59, so it's an in-play. And in-play 84, an in-play 84 versus a righty is going to be in the out range. That's going to be a ground ball hit at second. And Jim Morrison flips to Pryor for out number 3. Force out. 4-6. And Fred Howard comes in and with 1 pitch gets his team out of trouble, or out of the inning, at least an inning that lasted way too long for the White Sox and their fans here at Comiskey. All right, it's Ron Guidry. Climbs on the mound for the Yanks against Kevin Bell, a right-hander who hits .232 versus lefties. Here's the pitch from Guidry. It's a 7 tough 95, and that's going to be easy pickings for the left fielder, Piniella. 1 away. Kevin Bell out of there. Next is going to be Alan Bannister. He's 1-for-1. And that's a tough 0-7. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. The high, hard one got Bannister. Looked good to the eyes. It just did not look good to the hands. And it's Junior Moore. Junior Moore is 1-for-1. He's singled in his first at bat. That's a 7. That's tough, and that's a 34. A tough 34 against Junior Moore. That's lined base hit to left field. So Junior Moore is 2-for-2 now. And Chet Lemon. Chet Lemon is 0-for-1. Right-handed hitting center fielder who batted .327 versus lefties, and that's a 7. That's tough, and a tough 80. That's going to be in the out range. That's going to be a fly ball lifted to center. Bobby Mercer to his right, couple of steps, and grabs it for out number 3. It's going to be Fred Stanley leading it off. He's 0-for-1. He grounded out against Fred Howard. Going to try to get some innings out of Howard here in a game that's 6-0, unless the Whitesox can come back a little bit. So here's the pitch from Howard. It's an 8. That's patient. A patient 32 is going to be a line drive base hit for Fred Stanley. Alan Bannister throws it in, but Fred Stanley's on at first with a single, and Stanley had only one caught stealing, so he's definitely not going to run here. Willie Randolph, that's a defense. We're going to see what that becomes. A 53. What kind of defense is that? It's a shortstop error, so we're going to look at Pryor's numbers, and I'll show you how to do that right here. In case you're thinking of playing this game, shortstop, he's a 3. So we look at Comiskey under a 3. We rolled a 53, and that's going to be 1-47, so that's outside the range. So we're going to pull another card to see what kind of out it is. And to shortstop, it's an infield pop-up. So it's an infield pop to the left side, and Pryor going out to short left field makes a nice basket catch out there. There's a snow cone, but he held on. And back to first goes Fred Stanley. Thurman Munson, the captain, number 15, also known as the Walrus. He's got one more game to play after this game. He's 1-for-2 on the day. He doubled and grounded out. He's got an RBI double. That's a 6. That's an in play. See what happens. Munson, 99. In play, 99. It's going to be a pop-up. Again, Kevin Bell in foul territory, but now back in fair territory, and makes the catch. And that's, I'm using a modifier. If you go to Sideline Strategies, Delphi Sideline Strategies, you search that, and you can find modifiers and all kinds of fun stuff about Payoff pitch. And it's great stuff, man. This is a great game. It's a fun game. It's a breeze to play. I've looked at the chart once. I think almost 95% of it is off the charts. You got 100 different potential results here, because the numbers run from 1 to 100. Then you, of course, you have the permutations of going through the pitcher first, and that influences what's going on. So it's a great little game. The pitcher, basically, every ball or every at bat goes primarily through the pitcher, in that, the pitcher has the ball in his hand and he pitches. That's what I really like. It's, so a great pitcher is always going to have an effect, and a poor pitcher is always going to have an effect. Now, not always poor or not always great, but he always has an effect, and that's how I visualize baseball. So Fred Howard with 2 outs here. Reggie Jackson, the batter. Reggie Jackson's 0-for-1. He flied out and walked, and that's a 6. That's an in play to Jackson. An in play. We're going to have to roll that again. And that's an 88, an in-play 88, and that's going to be an out. It's a chopper to second baseman Jim Morrison from the doors, and he throws out Jackson 4-3. And now we're going to go to the bottom of the 4th. Ron Guidry is going to face Nordhagen. Nordhagen's 0-for-1. That's a 7, tough. A 13 off a left. He's a strikeout. Curveball got him. Mike Squires, that's a 7. That's tough, and that's a 44. A tough 44, and that's going to be an outrange fly ball lifted to left. Lou Piniella right there. Easy play. 2 away. And Ron Guidry, the pitch to Naharani. Left a 7. That's tough. 70. A tough 70. It's going to be a ground ball. Nope. That's a line drive and caught by Willie Randolph. That's, again, a modifier that I picked up on at the last minute. So memorize those. Pretty easy to do. Just to add a couple of extra line drives and pop-ups to the older card sets. You may or may not need it. I had one game where I had 10 pop-ups, but, you know, what can I tell you? Lou Piniella here in the top of the 5th. The Yankees lead at 6-0. Next to last game for Thurman Munson's career. 3 defense, and that's an 84 now. I'm not going to look at anything, but there's no 84. The highest it'll go to 80. So I know that this is automatically an out. So let me see who it goes to. It's the right field. And Wayne Nordhagen hustles after that ball and makes a nice running catch in right field. Wayne Nordhagen, 1 out. So Pinella's dejected. Hit that pretty well in the gap, but Nordhagen ran it down. It's Greg Nettles, who's 1 for 2, and that's a 6. That's in play, and that's a 28. An in play 28. It's going to be outside of the hit range, and it's going to take us to a pop-up to the catcher. Now Rodney, waiting for it, and makes the catch. All right, here's Howard to Jim Spencer. That's an 8. A 64. An 8 is going to be a patient 64. It's going to be in the out range. That's going to be a grounder, hard hit to Greg Pryor. Pryor guns it to first and gets Jim Spencer, who doesn't run very well. He may have tripped or had trouble getting out of the box because he was nowhere near first base on that. We're going to have to look at the replay to figure that out. All right, Ron Guidry, lefty, pitching a 4-hit shutout right now here in the bottom of the 5th. I hope I don't jinx him. It's going to be Greg Pryor, who's 1 for 1. He's doubled his first at bat. That's a 6, a 34. A 6 is tough, and a 34 versus a lefty is going to be in the hit range, and that's going to be a line drive, base hit center field. So Pryor's 2 for 2, and he gets the Sox going here in the bottom of the 5th. Jim Morrison. Morrison is 0 for 1. He grounded out, and that's an 8, and that's tough on Guidry. A 67, a tough 67 against a lefty. Oh, just missed being a hit there. 60 goes up to 65. A 67 is a ground ball to the second baseman. Let's see if that could be a double play, and it is not, because we rolled an 8, and that's a 5. So that the most you're going to get is a force out on that. So Randolph flips to Stanley. The throw to first, not in time. Morrison beat it out, and he's a 6 speed, but he really hustled down the line there. And that's gonna be a fielder's choice. A 4-6. I believe that was a 4-6, right? We said it was 67, yep. And he's out at second base. So Jim Morrison on at first now, and he had some stolen bases, but in the 6-0 game, he's not gonna attempt to steal at this point. So Kevin Bell, that's a 7, tough. And a tough 32, and anytime I see 30s, I look at the wild pitch. That's a 32, and Guidry's range is up to 30. So a tough 32, it's going to be a strikeout. Curveball got him. 2 outs now, and it's Alan Bannister. Bannister's 1 for 2. Single his first time at bat, and then struck out swinging. 7, tough again, 55. A tough 55 is going to be in the out range, and that's a pop-up. Pop-up to first base. Willie Randolph is there also, and Jim Spencer with the bigger glove takes it for out number 3. We're moving and grooving in this game. Bobby Mercer against Fred Howard. This may be Fred Howard's 4th inning, but at this point, we'll let him go 1 more inning. Bobby Mercer, that's a 9, patient, a 50, a patient 50, and that's outside of the a hit by pitch range. A 50 is going to be a ground ball to third base. Kevin Bell up with it. Cross to Mike Squires, 5-3, 1 away. Here's the pitch from Hampton. And Naren is patient, 83. And that's going to be a ball that's chopped into the dirt, but makes it to Morrison. Morrison flips to Squires, out number 2. Two up, two down. And now it's Fred Howard pitching to Fred Stanley, the two Freds, the battle of the Freds. And that's a 9. Patient 32. Patient 32 is going to be a line drive base hit to left field. Had second thoughts. So a 2-out single for Fred Stanley. And Stanley, let's look and see. He had one caught stealing. We're not going to worry about that right now. Willie Randolph. That's an 11. That's patient. And that's going to be a 16. A patient 16. It's going to be a base on balls. And that may be it for our boy, Fred Howard. Yes, it's going to be all for Fred Howard. And it's going to be Mike Proley. Mike Proley, hopefully he'll give us 3 innings. And he's going to come in to face the captain, number 15, the Walrus. Let's do the official Yankee introduction. Now batting, number 15, Thurman Munson, number 15. And it's Mike Proley going to come in to pitch to Thurman Munson. And he looks in for the sign. Runners on first and second. Randall's on first. Stanley's on at second. There's 2 outs. Yankees are up 6-0 here in the top of the 6th. Here's a pitch to Munson. That's a 6. That's patient. And we're looking at all the way to 49, 76. Oh, that's outside the range. That's going to be an out. Fly ball lifted to center. Chet Lemon back a few steps and puts it away for out number 3. So Munson had a chance, a big RBI chance there, but was not able to come through there. All right. Let's look at Ron Guidry now against Junior Moore. Junior Moore's 2 for 2 against Guidry. That's a 5 patient, and that's going to be base on balls, ball 4. So Moore is on at first. He's on for the 3rd time. Next is going to be Chet Lemon. That's 5. That's patient, and that's a 59. A patient 59 right outside the patient range. 59 is going to be a fly ball to right field, and Reggie Jackson pounds the glove, makes the catch, 1 away. Chet Lemon retired. Back to first goes Junior Moore, and it's Wayne Nordhagen steps into the box. Guidry's an 8, and that's tough pitch, 98, a tough 98, and that's going to be a fly ball lifted to left. Lou Piniella, he's under it. Out number 2 now. And it's Mike Squires. I think of Billy Squires. Billy Squires, famous rock and roll guy from the 70s and 80s. 4, ballpark. Ballpark for a lefty is 1/53, and that's an 80. So that's going to be in play. In play is going to be a 64, and that's going to be way out of range. And that's going to be a line drive caught by Fred Stanley. It's short. And that's 3 up, 3 down for, I believe it was 3 up, 3 down for Guidry. I don't remember there being anybody. Oh, wait, there was a, yeah, I think there was a, Junior Moore walked. I'm sorry, it was not. It was a walk and then 3 up and 3 down there. Okay, so it's going to be Mike Proley versus a lefty, Reggie Jackson. Jackson's 0 for 2. Jackson with good power, 6. That's patient. A patient 96. It's going to be in the out range, and that's going to be a fly ball. Lifts deep right field. Wayne Nordhagen back to the track and makes a nice catch. Gave it a ride, but just not enough to get it out of here at Comiskey Park. And it's a 7. That's tough against Lou Piniella. It's a tough 77. That's going to be in the out range. That's a fly ball center this time. And Chet Lemon over to his right a few steps makes the catch, 2 away. Proley pitches to Greg Nettles, the lefty. Nettles is 1 for 3. That's an 11. That's defense, a 0-3. So that's definitely, no matter if it's a range or if it's an error, it's definitely one or the other, and it's an error right field. Now we're going to see what kind of error. Is it a hit and an error, or is it a 2-base error? We're going to look here. So it's an error. It's a single and an error on the right fielder, Wayne Nordhagen. So it's lined, and base hit falls in front of Nordhagen. Nordhagen bobbles it, and that's going to allow Greg Nettles to hustle into second. Here's the throw, and he's safe. And Nordhagen is going to be strapped with an error on that play for bobbling the ball. because it was a clear single by Nettles. So then we're going to get Nettles at first, but then he's going to go to second on the error by who? The right fielder bobbles the ball. All right, so Greg Nettles with 2 outs is on at second base, and it's Jim Spencer who's 1 for 3. Jim Spencer homered. And that's a 3. That's in play. In play 67. 67 is a ground ball shortstop. Greg Pryor guns it to first. Out number 3. So here we are in the bottom of the 7th. It's the White Sox down 6-0. Guidry's pitching a 5-hitter. Ron Guidry, the southpaw, also known as Louisiana Lightning. Bill Naharodny, the batter. He's 0 for 2. And that's a 7. That's a tough pitch. A tough pitch from a left-hander is a 0-1. That's a strikeout. Curveball got him. Greg Pryor. In play 88. It's going to be outrange, and that's a ground ball hit to Fred Stanley. Fred Stanley up with it, throws out Pryor easily. And Jim Morrison 0 for 2, steps in the box. Guidry sets and deals. And that's a 9. That's a patient 93. And that's a ball lifted to left field. Lou Piniella, a few steps back, he's under it and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down for Louisiana Lightning. Pitching a shutout here through 7. Mike Proley is going to pitch to Bobby Mercer. Bobby Mercer is 1 for 3. And that's a 6. Patient 43. And that's going to be a line drive base hit. Bobby Mercer with a single. Bobby Mercer went home base and up 6 runs. We're not stealing right here. Jerry Narron, 4. That's ballpark. We need a lefty. He's 1 to 53, and that's a 97. So that's going to be in play. An in play 15 against a righty, and that's going to be a line drive into center field. Runner advances 1 base. Single RBIs. I'm sorry, single and runner to second. Runners on first and second. Nobody out here. Fred Stanley, the batter. We could bunt, but what fun is that? You know, Joe Madden says it's just giving the other team an out. So that's a 7. A tough 16. A tough 16 against a righty. That's a strikeout. So Stanley down on strikes. Willie Randolph. Oh, Christ. Where did that go? Okay, we're going to change dice right now. Oh no, you know what? Do I have a replacement for that die? Let's see. I'm going to change a little bit. We're going to change the color just a little bit. Okay, let's get that out of here. All right, so it's really Willie Randolph with first and second, 1 out. Against Mike Proley, that's an 8. That's in play, and in play 77. It's going to be a ground ball to short, and that's going to be a force out, a 6-4 fielder's choice. No time to get that throw off to get it to first. 6-4. Runner at third, batter at second. Narron is out on the force. Safe at first is Randolph. And that's a 7. Thurman Munson, number 15, who won the Rookie of the Year in 1970 with a .302 batting average, and then won the MVP AL in the AL with a .302 batting average in 1976. So both times he won big. He won through the with a .302 batting average. So it's a 7. That's a tough to Munson. 96. I'm not sure if I roll this. Whatever it is doesn't really matter. It's tough 90. Everything 96 is an out. Well, it could have been. Hold on. That's a 10. That's in play. So even in play, 96. It's gonna be a fly ball to left field, and that's gonna be out number 3. So Munson loses another RBI opportunity. All right, it's going to be Kevin Bell, Ron Guidry to Kevin Bell in the bottom of the eighth here in a 6-0 Yankee game, Yankee lead in Washington, in Chicago. And that's a wheelhouse. Wheelhouse is 14, and against a lefty, that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes Piniella to the track, to the wall, looks up, it's gone. It's out of here. Kevin Bell connects, and Guidry wishes he had that pitch back. So there goes the shutout. We jinxed them earlier when we talked about the shutout. And it's Alan Bannister, who's 1 for 3. That's a 7. Tough. A tough 60 against a lefty. Tough 60. It's going to be a ground ball to second base. Willie Randolph, he's up with it. Throws out Bannister. And it's Junior Moore, the righty. He's reached base all 3 times. He's 2 for 2, 2 singles and a walk. That's an 8. That's tough. And that's a 14. A tough 14 is a swing and a miss. High, hard one. Got him. Goodness. And here's Chet Lemon with 2 outs. And that's an 8. That's a tough. And that's a 55. A tough 55 against a left-handed pitcher is going to be a ground ball to the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles over to his left. Throws on the run and out at first. Nice stretch by Jim Spencer. 5-3. Put out, and Lemon can hustle down that line. He's got some good speed. He does play center field. Mike Proley here in the last inning. Actually, we're going to bring in a new pitcher. It's going to be Guy Hoffman, who actually pitches in this game. Guy Hoffman, the lefty. Hoffman, it's a 5-1 game, a 6-1 game. Guy Hoffman, where's Hoffman? Do I have to write him in? And I do, at sub. Is it Guy or is it Guy? I don't know. If he's Canadian, it's Guy. Or French, Hoffman. But here in America, it's Guy, right? All right, so Guy Hoffman's going to pitch to Reggie Jackson, lefty to lefty. And after this, I'm going to take a shower. I'm really, really hot. It's hot out here today in San Antonio. Got really hot all of a sudden. 4, that's patient. A patient 55 against a lefty. A patient 55 is a ground ball up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. Jackson on with a single. Nobody out here. And it's Lou Piniella. Lou Piniella is a 7. Tough. A tough 50. A tough 50 against a lefty. It's going to be in the out range. That's going to be a ground ball to third. And that may be trouble. That may be a double play there. And it's a double play here. It's a 5-4-3, just in time to get the hustling Lou Piniella at first base. 5-4-3, round the horn double play. Started nicely by Kevin Bell. And with 2 outs, nobody on, it's Greg Nettles now against Guy Hoffman. That's a 9. That's a patient 90. Against a lefty, takes us to the out range. And that's a ground ball. Hit to second base. Jim Morrison throws out Nettles. All right. Ron Guidry coming up for the try to complete the game. He's got a 6-hitter right now. He's given up just 1 run. And Wayne Nordhagen is going to face Guidry. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He's grounded out, struck out, and flied out. And it's a 5. That's patient. That's a 70. Patient 70 is going to be in the out range. It's going to be a fly ball center field. 1 away. Now we'll talk about a little bit about the games at the end of this. A little bit about the 4 games. Give them a little